What's up, everyone? My name's Taylor Nemechek, and this is Who's That Saint? So there's actually very little known about this saint, but there are a number of legends regarding some of the works of this young woman. So who are we talking about today? Saint Faith. So the question is, who is Saint Faith? The first reference towards Saint Faith's martyrdom comes from a manuscript copy from around the 6th century, in which it's the martyrdom of Saint Jerome, who died in 420. And in this manuscript copy, it mentions Saint Faith's martyrdom, and it lists that her feast day is October 6th. And then her martyrdom is also told in a mid-9th century document. So these are two of the main documents where we get stories on Saint Faith's story, life, and martyrdom. And so Saint Faith was born sometime, most likely in the later 3rd century. It's supposedly late 280s, around that time, maybe a little later. So what we do know about Saint Faith was that she was a young virgin who lived in Agen, France, and she suffered a lot during the time of the Roman persecutions. So what kind of began it all was she was summoned before the Roman procurator Dacian, who was under the rule of, you want to guess? I'll give you 3 guesses. And let me give you a hint. It's a Roman emperor that we've talked about quite a bit with these different saint videos. You guessed it, Diocletian. He shows up yet again in another one of our videos. So, Dacian hailed Saint Faith because of her strong Christian faith and beliefs. And so, with most of the Christians, they started with trying to force her to make sacrifices and to worship the pagan gods. But Saint Faith, like the other saints we've talked about in the earlier episodes, would not do this, and she fortified herself and protected herself by making the sign of the cross. And she even said these words to the judge who was standing over her: "I have served Christ from my infancy, and to him I have consecrated myself." And so she was putting up her fight. She wasn't going to back down from her Christian faith. So when they saw that she was resisting renouncing her faith, they threatened to kill her. But at this, she responded with these words: "I am prepared to suffer everything for Christ. I long to die for him." So she wasn't getting let up anytime soon. She had her faith strong, and she knew that she was safe in giving up her life for Christ, for the greater glory of Christ. So just like in all of the previous cases, Dacian and Diocletian did not like this, and were not happy with Saint Faith and that she would not renounce her faith. So Saint Faith is tortured to death, and her death is being burned on a brazier, or like a red hot grill. And so while she was being burned to death on the grill, it's said that there was a heavy snow that filled the air around her and covered her body, so that it modestly veiled her body from those who were standing by and watching and witnessing her death. And some of the spectators at this, just while she was being burned to death, objected to the torture she was having to endure, but Dacian, just kind of going on a rampage, had them beheaded, and more deaths. So no one knows the exact date of Saint Faith's death, but it's been placed sometime around the year of 303, because this is when most of Diocletian's persecutions of Christians was occurring. And her relics now rest in an abbey near Conques, France. And there's a story or two about how her relics ended up in this abbey versus her original resting place. And one of them being that a monk just kind of one night just stole the relics and brought them to this abbey. But either way, or whatever story, or however they got to this abbey, there's been a number of miracles attributed to Saint Faith and through her relics. So there's our answer to who is Saint Faith. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something you didn't already know about this great saint. Make sure to hit subscribe and hit the like button for more videos like this, and comment below if you have any suggestions of saints you'd like to see on future episodes, or just any topics or video ideas that you'd like to see me post on Wednesdays, or just talk about or post later on for later episodes of different videos. And make sure, as always, to stay tuned for next week's episode of Who's That Saint? We'll see you next time. God bless.